Okay, so it's 2440-2968-3131.
The December 11th, 2024 meeting of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is charged with conducting hearings to determine whether an alleged violation of the city code has occurred. Decisions made by this quasi-judicial board will be based on the evidence and the facts presented tonight. Our meetings are conducted in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, and each case will begin with the city presenting its evidence of the alleged violation. The respondent will then present his or her case. Both parties will have an opportunity to cross-examine all witnesses. The board members may question any witness. Comments by both parties must be relevant to the case. Persons wishing to speak will be given an opportunity to do so by the chairman and must address the board from the podium after giving their name and address. Upon request, copies of materials submitted by staff are available for review. Board members are reminded to obtain permission to speak from the chair, and questions of the city should be directed to the attorney for the city. At this time, I will ask all persons who expect to give testimony tonight to stand and be sworn in by the city clerk.
If you would give testimony, please stand, raise your right hand. Anyone wishing to speak needs to stand, please raise your right hand. Raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will provide to the board tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Cases may be taken out of order to accommodate the respondents and the witnesses present at tonight's meeting. Let's see. Have all board members received the minutes? Do I do the
Ex parte communication.
ex parte first? Oh, okay, I see you got it a little out of order for me. Okay, I got you. At this time, I would like to ask the board members if they have had any ex parte communications regarding any matters coming before the Code Enforcement Board this evening.
I've had none.
I've had none.
I've had none.
I've had none.
Well, I guess I was supposed to also read, if you've had verbal communications, please disclose the sum and substance of the communications, when and where the communications occurred, and with whom it occurred. If you have received any written communications, please disclose the nature of the communications and provide it to the city clerk to be filed in the record. All right, moving on, approval of minutes. Minutes from the regular meeting held on November 13th, 2024. Have all the board members received the minutes of that meeting?
Yes.
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 Okay. If the minutes are acceptable,
I believe you have a.
yeah, I actually have one exception. I already spoke to Joe about that. I think in the list of people who were present, you left out one of the code compliance officers. So, okay. Anybody else have any other corrections they'd like to bring up?
I'm good.
Okay. Great.
So motion to approve.
I have yes, so I'm gonna. We have a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
All right,
That would be a motion with the correct.
With the update, with the.
with the update, yeah, okay, thanks. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No nays? All right. Motion passes, obviously. So I think we're ready for the first case, and that, I think we're taking them out of order tonight. So the first case will be 24-2440.
Like you said, first case will be this evening will be case 24-2440, City versus Michael S. and Christy Zimmerman for the property located at 8201 Broward Place. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 8-102-13C MH roofs. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. The city has evidence that the notion of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Vice Chairman, board members, Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively on May the 29th, 2024. My inspection revealed a tarp on the roof which might emit rain or cause dampness in the walls or interior portion of the building. At this time, I left a door hanger with a compliance date of the 2nd of July, 2024. My reinspection on August the 7th, 2024 revealed no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared with a compliance date of the 9th of September, 2024. No one was at home, so I posted the notice letter at the front door and requested copies be sent certified and first-class mail to the owner of record. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. Mr. Vice Chairman, Ms. Zimmerman reached out to me by phone call on August 7th, 2024, pertaining to the violation. She stated she had just started a new job and would be actively working towards compliance. On the 3rd of December, 2024, Ms. Zimmerman contacted me regarding the notice of hearing. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violation taken by me on the 7th of August, 2024.
Please submit.
Thank you, sir. Exhibit number 1 shows a notice letter posted at the front door. Exhibit number 2 shows the tarp on the roof on the north side. As of today's date, the site is not in compliance, and I am seeking a ruling. Respondent is here in the courtroom this evening, Mr. Vice Chairman, and would like to come up and address the board, sir.
Sure, are there any questions for the code enforcement officer at this point? No?
Ms. Zimmerman?
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I just wanted to share with you
Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Kristen Zimmerman, 8201 Broward Place, Tampa. I just wanted to share with you that when I did receive the notice, I contacted Lori Smith's office immediately. I did have a long conversation with the person who answered the phone and let her know my plans to repair the tarp. I currently was unemployed and in the meantime did get a job. Since then, I did replace the tarp. It was completely replaced, and I spoke to Lori, I believe it was December. In speaking with Lori, I realized that she had indicated that she wanted the opposite tarp replaced. We have two tarps, one on the north, one on the south, and I'm going to be very honest and tell you I don't know my north from my south and did not think anything was wrong with the one on the south side. So after speaking with her, she said, no, we want the one on the south adjusted. And so in the meantime, since speaking with her in December, I have gotten two different estimates to have the roof replaced. The most recent was today, and I've signed a contract with them to go through the process. So I don't have a time frame because we're going through insurance, and I've also applied through FEMA because we had excess damage with the hurricanes. So that's where we're at with the roof situation.
So is the problem with the the tarp has holes in it, or the one that she wanted, that Lori wanted replaced?
Well, the tarp, because of the hurricane, yes, it sort of disassembled it and it needs to be fixed. It doesn't look good.
Mr. Chairman,
And yeah,
I just want to add something. She wasn't cited for the top.
Okay.
She's cited for the damaged
That-
roof shingles.
that was my next question.
Okay, so it's not the top that she's been cited for.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so I was not aware of that because the conversation that I had was strictly regarding the tarps, of which I immediately replaced. In addition to the tarps, the roof company obviously will seek to replace the whole roof. Hopefully as soon as possible, but I don't have a time frame, like I said, regarding FEMA and my insurance company. So I am definitely requesting an extension.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's been going on for almost a year. When did this start? I missed the date. It's like.
It was August.
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 This
So
August,
since the summer, yeah.
this summer. And it's do you have any leaks inside the house?
We have had a leak, yes, and that was the reason for the tarp. Obviously, that's why I'm seeking to replace the whole roof.
And after you fixed the tarps right now, is it still leaking?
No.
It's not.
Well, let me correct that. It was not until the hurricane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr.
But the
Vice
roof damage was not because of this recent hurricane. It was prior to that.
That's incorrect. There's a combination. There was existing damage in the back, and there's additional damage from the hurricane in the front.
And do you have any idea how long it's going to take? You signed a contract today. Do you have any proof of that?
I have it with me. I didn't make any copies, but I don't know if that's something you want to look at, or,
Should we get a copy and enter that into evidence?
Sure,
Okay.
can, if you'd like to submit it.
yeah.
But is there a permit required with this roof replacement? There should be, right?
Yes, there is.
Has a permit been
Yes.
applied for?
If she signed the contract today, the permit, they would go after the permit.
Yeah.
Right
Just-
now, I'm not aware of a permit issue.
That'd be.
Okay.
So if
Okay,
you sign
just-
the contract, it's gonna take time
Yeah.
for that roof company to pull the permit.
Just double checking, okay, okay.
That takes, what, a week or 10 days?
The permit?
Ish.
No, it's 1 day,
1 day?
yes.
We're very efficient.
May I say, yes, they were just out at 4 o'clock today.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. In the meantime, they should be completely replacing any tarps on the roof with a completely brand-new tarp.
I understand that since the storm, it's hard to get a lot of these roofing companies to commit to a time frame because of the excessive business right now. But I think we can have a conversation about flexibility since you are now under contract with a roofer, making plans to get this rectified. Perfect.
So you mentioned FEMA. Is there any extenuating circumstances regarding FEMA as far as you getting the work done?
Extenuating circumstances as far as,
Well, I assume you were trying to get funding from FEMA for,
I've been unemployed, yeah. I
Yeah.
was laid off. Yeah.
But FEMA, I think, is
Says-
going to be supplemental.
Anyone in a disaster zone is eligible, so our whole region.
Yeah, all of us.
I just meant, you've been approved by FEMA to get the work done, and,
I have not, I'm in the process of going through FEMA. I applied, and now they're waiting to hear back from my insurance company with the claim that I made. So,
okay, we're just trying to determine how long this is gonna take and how close you are to getting,
Well, I guess
the work
que-
actually done.
For me, the question would be if the insurance company and all that, because that can take time, would you pay for it and then hope the insurance company reimburses you?
no, I don't have the capability to do that
Okay,
right now.
okay.
No. And the way the roofing company works is that they're gonna want approval from the insurance to proceed. So,
Yeah, because generally, from my experience, if you sign the contract, that you're saying, I'm ready to move forward with this regardless of anything else. Otherwise, the insurance company goes forward with it on their own. So, I mean, I'm willing to, and we'll talk about this, but I'm willing to, give extensions for sure.
Absolutely.
But just got to make sure that everyone's doing what they need to do to keep your home safe for you and everyone else,
Jim, this process can take several weeks.
Right.
So the city has no problem giving a 60-day grant.
Okay.
But she'll have to
Sound.
come back. in
Somebody,
2 months
somebody's
to-
sound, somebody's, your sound.
I'm hitting the button and nothing's working. So I'm trying, but some.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
since I should be on, just for the purposes of the record, Mr. Barone was offering that there was no objection to a 60-day deadline on this. But I would also like to be sure now that since there was some confusion as to what the violation was, that you understand it's the condition of the roof, it's not the tarps that are the
Correct.
violation. Okay, I want to make sure you understand.
And also, we're looking for her safety too, for not having more damage and more flooding and electrical and affecting your
absolutely,
living in the house is livable.
yes.
So, any further questions for the respondent? Any further questions? Anybody? Okay. All right, thank you. So, unless there are any other questions for the code officer or the respondent, I'm looking for a motion.
I'll do the motion. In case number 242440, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violation of City of Temple Terrace City Code exists on the property located at 8201 Broward Place, with the applicable code violation, section 8-102, subsection 13, subsection C. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, Lori Smith, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and a notice of violation, all which received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that the said violation be corrected on or before February 12th, 2025. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continue past the date set for compliance upon considering the following factors: the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, any previous violations committed by the violator. I move that the fine be $25 per day.
We have a motion, have a second.
Second. Oh.
Right, any further discussion? No, none?
None.
So I guess we need to take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
No nays? Motion passes. So you understand, you have 60 days to get this resolved. If after 60 days you still don't have there's still a problem with getting the roof repaired, then you can come back here, ask for an extension. No guarantees that you'll get one, but we'll at least listen to to what happens, so.
Thank you so much. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, next case?
Next case is case 24-2968, City versus Spectrum Medical Park LLC for the property located at 311 Bullard Parkway.
She has to go first.
The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 8-10213B, MH exterior walls. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening again, Mr. Vice Chair, board members, Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated by a neighborhood inspection on June the 26th, 2024. My inspection revealed the barrel clay roof heavily stained with black mildew, dead landscape material, lack of a functional irrigation system. The building sign along Bullard Parkway was heavily stained with green mildew, low tree limbs impeding the sidewalk on Springdale Avenue, and the entire exterior wall building paint is very faded. At this time, I left a door hanger with the reinspection date of the 29th of July, 2024. My inspection on August the 8th, 2024 noted no change. Therefore, a notice of violation letter was prepared with the compliance dated the 22nd of August, 2024. Affidavit of service was obtained by hand delivery to the administrative assistant Nellie Pedraza. Mr. Vice Chairman, on the 8th of August, 2024, Dr. Balboa called stating he would begin addressing the violations on the property. On December the 2nd, 2024, Dr. Balboa contacted me again regarding the notice of hearing. On August the 12th, 2024, I observed pressure washing of the marquee sign and the low tree limbs along Springdale had been uplifted. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violations taken by me on the 19th of November, 2024.
Please submit.
Thank you, sir. Exhibit number 1 shows the irrigation system not being functional, as well as exhibit number 2 does. Exhibit number 3 shows dead, damaged plant material on the north side of the building. Exhibit number 4 shows again dead, damaged plant material on the north side of the building. So does exhibit number 5, damaged dead plant material. Exhibit number 6 shows the east side roof heavily stained with black mildew. Exhibit number 7 shows the north side roof heavily stained with black mildew. Exhibit number 8 shows exterior wall faded east side of the building. 9 shows exterior wall faded west side of the building. Exhibit 10 shows exterior wall faded north side of the building. As of today's date, the site is not in compliance and I am seeking a ruling. Mr. Vice Chair, if you would indulge me, sir, this is not a picture that I included in my photographic evidence, but I would like to share this with you and the board members. This is a commercial piece of property right across the street from the property that is in violation. I'd like you guys to take a look at the barrel style roof. Just so you guys can see what it looks like, it should look like, versus what the property looks like across the street.
Okay.
This is a commercial site as well.
The site that we're discussing tonight.
Yes, sir. But the picture that I've asked, just so you guys please take a look at, so you guys can see how that roof looks. It is a clay barrel style roof as well, just like this other property is, sir. So there is a way to have that cleaned and look presentable. I just wanted to show you guys a picture just in case you had never seen that, a soft wash on a clay roof.
We're waiting.
Yes, sir. I know there's quite a few.
Anybody have any questions?
Is the respondent here, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yes.
You said all 3 violations are still present at the property.
Yes, sir. They did correct some. Like I said, Mr. Vice Chairman, they did uplift the low tree limbs along Springdale Avenue, and they did some pressure washing on the site as well. The common areas, sidewalks, they did that as well, sir. So they did do some things to, bring the property into compliance. There were more violations, but they started working on them once they were notified that they were in violation.
I'm sorry, your last written exchange with them was when?
It was the day that I did this December the 2nd, ma'am, is on regarding the notice of hearing. When I took the notice of hearing to the business, the doctor, I spoke with him that day regarding the notice of hearing, and he did let me know that he would be here or a representative from the company would be in attendance this evening.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this the picture that shows the faded side? Is that the one?
Excuse me. Honestly, sir, this is some. As you can see, there's a lot of staining right here. This is 2 different colors.
Okay.
It's like if there was another color that was painted before this, and maybe that color is starting to try to bleed through,
Okay.
is what I think.
Okay.
Some of the other pictures, Mr. Vice Chair, you can see that color differentiation on the east and west side. Maybe because we were inside the dark area
Yeah.
where those other photos were taken from
Okay.
Lord Parkway.
But that is one of the violations that was cited, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. Go ahead, Rob.
This is one business?
Excuse me, sir?
Is it one business?
Yes, sir.
The whole building is owned and operated by one business? The owner is the same?
Yes, sir.
And all these violations, I know they asked it, but I probably missed it. Nothing been done so far on?
No, sir. There's some things that did get done. They uplifted the low tree limbs along Springdale Avenue. Those were uplifted, so any pedestrians coming down the walkway weren't, the tree limbs weren't impeding them coming down the walkway. So that was done. They also did some pressure washing of the common areas, sidewalks, so forth and so on, coming into the establishment. They had some pressure washing done, and it looked great when they got it finished. So yes, sir, they did start on some things. They just have a little bit more work to do.
But none of those violations have been resolved.
None of those, they're still
Ones that are on.
Yes, sir.
in active, okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for the code enforcement? Okay, all right. So the respondent's here, and
Would you like to come up?
they'd like to. So, name and address first, please.
Name and address.
Oh, we got to say what happened.
Your name and address.
Yes. Yes. We've been here in Temple Terrace for 16 years. This is my first hearing. And I know there are things that, like the roof, that should be taken care of. And we plan
We
to,
need you to state your name and address first,
For the record.
for the record.
Address. Your name and address.
what?
Name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ronald Barbour, 341 Bullet Parkway.
Okay.
Okay, so, yes, as was pointed out, there are things that need to be taken care of. Been here 16 years in Temple Terrace. It's my first time at the hearing. And we plan on taking care of the roof. We're trying to see how we can afford that, but we want to get it done along with the other things. We're just asking for an extension in time in order to comply with what's being asked of us.
Okay. Did anybody have any questions for the respondent?
I'll go ahead and start.
Yeah, please.
So have you been in touch with any roofers or any maintenance companies to kind of get this ball rolling?
Yeah, that's what you,
She want to know if you have been in touch with any maintenance company or roofing company to get this done.
to do it.
To get it
No, I haven't found a roofing cleaning company as of yet, but that we want to do it. I've found someone who says they can do it, but we want to get it done. But I haven't lined up people as of yet, but it will be done.
So it sounds like you also need some irrigation repair work done, irrigation system.
Yes, the building has been vandalized since we've been there, so we kind of gave up on those because we have it repaired and then they get cut. So we're working on hiring. By the way, my name is Milka Barbour. We have somebody handy that came out and look at it. We may just have to cut them and eliminate them for now.
You mean eliminate the shrubbery or the
Eliminate the irrigation because it'll have to be done altogether. Because if you walk around the property, you see that it's the one that's like
Right.
hose style.
Yeah.
So they're all being cut. We've had them repaired many times. Just like the water fountain's been vandalized, we can't even get it up. The roof, one thing my husband wanted to mention, with the hurricane, we have leaks. So it looks like we may have to replace the roof. And to do that, it will have to be both buildings, because there are 2 buildings. So we replace the tiles, and we don't have leak coming down yet. Of course, we haven't had much rain. And then we have like in 3 different locations in the building. So we have to really have the roof repaired, because if we have pressure washing right now, we may just have a disaster happen.
Okay.
So that's the first thing we're discussing, getting a roofing company to look at and see where the leak, if there is an actual leak, because the storm hit us hard. So we don't know if there are pieces missing up there, because in the kitchen we had a leak, and in the entrance area we also had great leak in there. So that's part of the problem. But we are working on that. The buildings have to be painted and pressure washed, and that's gonna take at least $10,000 to get done. So that right now the financial, it's an issue.
and the roof is, because it's a commercial property, does the roof have to be replaced in kind as far as because I know those tile roofs are expensive and.
Yes, we got it, the building was constructed in 2008. We've had them repaired since a few times, both sides, because they come off. Somehow the construction was not as solid, so that's been an issue. We are working in different things to try to get the funds to repair, hopefully to keep them a little longer, but it's, 20 years, 18 years old. So the one across that you saw the picture for, the house was redone about 5 years, maybe 6 at the most. So their roof, it's much younger roof. No excuse for not pressure washing ours. But we do want the property to look its best. But right now it's going to take at least $20,000 between the painting and repairs of the roof, if it can be repaired after the hurricane.
So
Just want to add something
Yeah.
to, just to follow up. You're required on commercial properties to have a working irrigation.
Okay.
So she can't,
Oh, okay.
yes. So you're also required to add mulch.
So we're
And
required
also,
to have the irrigation.
that's why the hedges are not growing or staying alive, because they have a non-functional irrigation system.
That was my question is, could they come in compliance if they just get rid of the shrubs that are there? But you're saying it has to have an irrigation
We had
system.
them repaired many times and they get vandalized in our area. It's an open area, just like the water fountain that you see.
Yep.
They broke the pump, the top, we had it redone, they break it again, so we at a point we just left it alone.
I understand. But the fountain is not our concern.
Right.
But the irrigation would be, when you mentioned that you're gonna cut it.
Around the property and you can walk all the way around
They
without.
want, he's saying that the irrigation is mandatory, so we'll have to get a company. Yeah, we'll have to hire a company to get that, see how we can change it from what it is, because obviously it's broken everywhere. Even when the companies for the city come out for the light, we had them broken, so it's been one of those things.
You have a question?
Ma'am, you keep saying it gets vandalized. What, do you have any idea why?
Because it's an open area, we had things vandalized, the kids get bored and they come around and run around. I think it's because of the way that the building was constructed. We don't have gates, so it's easy access. People just go through and,
I see this irrigation is exposed. You know, it's still, I mean, it has to be, some of it has to be underground, right?
yeah, they were,
Could be overground, yeah, above ground, but,
The
you
mulch
know,
would cover up the irrigation line.
yeah.
the mulch, they're saying that if you have mulch on the irrigation, it will keep it from being vandalized because it'll be hidden.
If we got a gate
Mulch,
and mulch.
to add the mulch.
Because
I'm not against
it's very important. It's a commercial property requires irrigation, working irrigation system, working fire alarm system, working a lot of other. Yeah, so it's a lot of rules that does not apply similar to the residential. So it's very important to fix that, and that's probably is gonna require you to get some time. And so what do you think that the amount of time that you would be seeking?
How much time do you think you need to get the company to get the irrigation going?
I would say to get it all done, 6 months.
To get the roof and the irrigation?
Yeah, we're gonna start on the roof,
Yeah.
in about a week, 2 weeks for the roof. But to make sure everything is in compliance, about 6 months.
We removed the dead shrubs that were in the picture, they're not there. So we actually have a handy guy that's gonna start pressure washing the building where you see the green. And then start to paint an area at a time. So we do have somebody that's gonna start working on the minor things. And then we have to get the company that repaired the one building to come out and give us a quote. Take a look at it and see what the repairs, we have to work on the repairs before even pressure washing the building.
6 months is a lot of time.
Tom, when did this violation begin? You did the start date on that?
Start date June 26th, it was in, by neighborhood inspection,
June 26th.
Okay.
It's been 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, and the problem is because we don't have the financials, as you can see, my husband lost his leg, so he's not able to do hospitals or anything, and the numbers are not what they used to be. So it's been more, if it's not, we want to neglect the property.
Oh, you're
It's more of a
operating the
fun
business,
property.
you're not renting it out?
I'm sorry?
You're operating this business?
We are, but it doesn't meet the mortgage, so whatever we're getting, it's going towards mortgage of the property. Yeah, we lost our home, so it's not a matter of not wanting to comply. It's been more of life changes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for the respondents? All right, thank you. Yeah, you can be seated.
You can speak.
All right, so any other questions for code enforcement? Nothing? All right, so I guess I'm looking for a finding.
All right, I got this.
Okay.
In case number 24-2968, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace Code exist on the property located at 311 Bullard Parkway A. Section 12-1047, Section 8-102, subsection 13, subsection C, and Section 8-102, subsection 13, subsection B. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer Lori Smith, along with other witnesses, and any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violations be corrected on or before February 12th, 2025. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day of the violations, continue past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors, the gravity of the violation, any action taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine to be $25 per day.
We have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yes, I disagree with the fine. There are 3 violations, and just to be consistent with other cases and be fair to all other cases, and I know this here, if it's corrected, is not going to be really a factor, but since we have 3 violations, I would like to see it $75 per day.
$75 per day, one
Yes.
per violation.
Yes.
So any discussion on this?
I understand the sentiment with it, because we've done that in the past, where it's per violation. This one, I think there are extenuating circumstances. I wouldn't mind going up to maybe 50, but,
Just to be
I'm amenable.
cases. We have similar cases. I don't mind 50, but 25 is gonna be a very minor thing, and it's a commercial property that we need, to see in good shape immediately.
I think 50 is a good compromise.
Okay.
All right, so Vice Chair, do I
Amend your motion?
I would like to amend my motion. I amend my motion to move that the fine be $50 per day as of February 12th, 2025.
And I'll re-second that.
Second that, okay. All right, any further discussion tonight? Okay, all right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No nays? The motion passes. So, just so if you want to come up, I'll explain. You don't have to.
Yeah.
I can explain,
Yes.
that's okay, that's fine. You can stay seated. You've been found in violation of the city code, and the fine per day would be $50. However, the extension was for 60 days, which is, normally we have 30 days, so we're giving you a little extra time. If you can't comply with all the violations by February 12th, then you can always come back here and ask for an extension. No guarantees that you'll be granted the extension, but we would certainly consider the situation and act accordingly. Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, next case.
Next case is case number 24-3131, City versus Terrace Oaks HOA Incorporated, care of West Coast Management for the property located at 10325 Council's Way. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 12-901 Pools Duty to Maintain. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. The city has evidence that the notion of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Vice Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by me on July 3rd, 2024 for an unmaintained community swimming pool, which was green and it is secured, and I left a door hanger with a reinspection date of July 11th, 2024. My reinspection on August 14th, 2024 showed no change, so I prepared a notice of violation on that date with a reinspection date of September 12th, 2024. I posted the notice at the front door, and a copy was posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the owner of record. I have been in constant contact with the property management company and have allowed at least 2 different extensions to the compliance date. My reinspection on November 27th showed no change, so I prepared a notice of hearing on that date, and the case was scheduled for the December Municipal Code Board meeting. This time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence taken by myself on August 14th and November 27th, 2024.
Please submit.
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
Exhibit number 1 shows the notice of violation posting, and exhibit number 2 shows the green pool. This photo may not represent the condition of the pool, as it's difficult to get a decent picture from the outside of the fence. The site is not in compliance, and I'm seeking a ruling.
While we're reviewing the pictures, any questions that come to mind for the code enforcement officer?
Yes, I have a question. How do you know the pool is not, it's green?
Yes, sir.
Looks blue in the picture.
It's the reflection of the sky, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
You did say it was hard to capture.
It's very hard. I heard him saying that.
He mentioned that.
Filtration system haven't worked since at least July.
Oh,
Oh, good information.
You said you were in constant contact. What have they said?
The management company said that they were going to continue to bring it to the board's attention, and apparently it was just more of a monetary problem with the board, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
So are there any, mosquito problems or any
Well, there's a
issues?
lake right behind it, or a pond, so it's it would be difficult to say that they're.
Kind of a moot point?
Right, which one is it coming from?
Okay, all right.
is it closed? Is
Yes,
it
it's
closed
secured.
for
Yeah, the
use?
site's secured.
Secured and closed, and nobody is allowed to use it.
I wouldn't think anybody would want to use it,
yeah.
but,
Yeah, is it?
Unless you
like,
wanted
do
to go
they have it
fishing, maybe,
Open for use?
no, you have to have a key to access the site.
Okay. But if they want, if a resident wanted
I
to, they could.
assume if the resident had an access card or key or code, then
You said there is a member of the HOA present tonight for us to speak to?
I believe so.
Respondent here.
We had a Mr. Adel Musa sign in for this
Oh,
one.
there he is. He's right there. So there you go. Any other questions for the code officer? All right. So it's all you.
My name is Adel Musa, and do you want the property address or my home address?
Property address.
Address, it's 10325 Council Way. Unfortunately.
Or is it his address?
Well, what we need is his relationship to the property.
Okay.
And whether he has authorization to speak on behalf.
Okay.
I'm a board member on the board, also the president. Unfortunately, we were going through tough times, but we had a meeting last week, and for the second time, we voted for the electrical work and the pump works. We had an electrician already voted for him like 2 months ago before the hurricane, but unfortunately, he's unable to come to do any electrical work, so the Bull Company come to install the pumps. So however, we increased the amount and we voted for it last week, and it should be in the minutes.
So you increased the amount that you were going to.
Yeah, I mean, the first electrician was asked about 2,000 something. We doubled to 4,000 something, plus for the pumps like over $5,000. And the money is there, is ready. We're just waiting on the management company to contact the vendor, have them come and do the work.
Is there any permitting or any permit required for this type of work?
Electrical work, depending on what it is, you may want to contact community development to see if a permit is required for the electrical.
Yeah, I mean, we can hire a licensed electrician. That's what the insurance, the management company, making sure they have the license, insurance, all this. I'm not sure exactly what's electrical work they are talking about, because the pumps over there, you turn them on, they are not working. I'm not sure if they're getting special pumps or something, or variable speed, or honestly, I'm not a good to answer those questions. But everything is ready at the management company. Everything approved in the minutes. They have the money for it. They are good to go anytime.
Do you have any idea when the management company still needs to approve?
No, it's already approved. I mean, we approved everything. It's just a matter, they need to get the vendor, they got to get their license, insurance, worker comps, and make sure they do all the work and to make it, approve it. If not, then we have to go to the second company.
Okay.
I mean, unfortunately, I worked really hard. I used to fix it by myself in the Bastille. I used to go by the capacitor and fix it. But this time, the board members, they said they want to get, replace everything. And unfortunately, before that, we had big company taking care of our swimming pool. And they left the water on 24/7. And every month, we used to get like $3,000 extra on the bill. And we thought we had a leak. And unfortunately, it was them, you know. I have a picture, videotape, reported to them, called the attorney. Unfortunately, we can't do anything against them by law.
You have a question?
How long do you think it's going to take you to correct this?
Honestly, I don't want to give a date. I don't have a date. I mean, they have everything. They're really good to go. Nothing should stop them unless if the vendor, their license is not approved, or insurance, or worker comps. So, I mean, I may say 60 days, but it should be way less than that because it's ready to go. I mean,
Yeah, it sounds like it could conceivably happen in less than, before the next meeting in 30 days. Yeah.
it should be done before 60 days, but I mean, as I said, you know, you call company, they tell you just they come and they don't do the work because they are too busy or something.
Okay.
So like,
Mr. Chairman, just want to add that being this is a community pool and it is safe, guarded by a fence, it's fenced in, but I would not like to see more than 30 days. The city would rather see this expedited and fixed as soon as possible.
well, you know, maybe, I'm not sure, as he said at the beginning, the electrician might need to pull a permit or something, or or they need to call, you know, I mean, commercial is not like when you work in something in your home, you know. It's, I think 60-day reasonable, but I mean,
But we'll wait, let's wait and see
I'm
what.
afraid to say 30 days, it might be tight, you know, it's just like that electrician, he was ready to go, then he canceling us.
Anyway, you know, sometimes, you know, the count, we give extensions in case you ran through trouble. But as the city mentioned, this is a commercial property. We like to see it as soon as possible in 30 days. If something happens, it'll explain to you, Bill.
Yeah, I
the
understand.
co-chairman.
It's locked, and we can add another lock on it or something, you know, so people wouldn't have an access to it, but, you know, I mean, our community went through rough times, you know, like, we used to have like 3 leaks under the ground, and now like an average 1 every month. And it's a lot of money going over there, you know. But we have the money for the pool. It's already reserved, and we voted for it.
Did you want to make a
Just a
comment?
quick question, I'm sorry if I missed it. Is the pool secure to where no one's able to use it? That question was being asked earlier.
I mean, I can add another lock if you want tonight. I can go get a lock and add another lock so people wouldn't access. But I think they would be able to access if they use their card, because it's working a magnet. So as long as we have electrical, they can access. But if you need me to put a lock, I'll be glad to go to Home Depot, grab one and put it
A
in.
couple members of the
Yeah,
board.
somebody asked that question.
We couldn't add a stipulation like that anyway, really. We can't enforce that.
I don't believe so, no, I just think that, all I was trying to find out is
Yeah.
whether or not there's access to it, you guys would factor that in.
Okay.
Did you have a question, or you?
No.
Okay, all right, so any other questions for the respondent? All right, so, thank you, thank you for your testimony.
I'll do this one. In case number 243131, I move the city is proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace Code exist on the property located at 10325 Council's Way. Applicable code sections 12-901. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from code enforcement officers, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violations be corrected on or before January 8th, 2025. If the respondent does not comply with the order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violations continue past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors: the gravity of the violations, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move the fine be $25 per day.
We have a motion, need a second?
I second.
Any further discussion? All right, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No nays? All right, so the motion passes, and
How many days?
you were given 30 days, but as I explained, or you probably heard the other explanations for other people, that, you know, you can come back here in 30 days if there's some problem that can't be resolved. You can always come back, ask for an extension, and we'll take it under consideration for you, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next case?
Next case is case number 24-3231, City versus Alex Joseph Marcel for the property located at 5202 Blaine Drive. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 8-28A1 permit app required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. The city has evidence that the notion of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening once again, Vice Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was initiated by me on July 12th, 2024 for construction of a shed without a permit. I contacted Community Development, who generated a stop work order, and I went direct to a notice of violation on that date with a reinspection date of July 22nd, 2024. I posted a copy of the notice of violation at the front door, and a copy was posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the owner of record. My reinspection on November 27th showed no change, so a notice of hearing was prepared on that date, and the case was scheduled for the December Municipal Code Board meeting. This time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence taken by myself on November 27th and a screenshot of the stop work order.
And you may submit.
And also a photo of the shed, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
Exhibit number 1 is a copy of the notice of violation posting. Exhibit number 2 shows the screenshot of the stop work order, and exhibit number 3 shows a picture of the shed. The site is not in compliance, and I am seeking a ruling.
And the non-compliance is due to the lack of a permit.
Yeah, lack of a permit.
It's not in violation from any location or anything like that, it just needs a permit.
Well, there
Or
is,
maybe the permitting process will determine whether it's in.
exactly. I think it probably would be denied because of I think there was some issues with the amount of pavers in the yard as far as not having enough green space on the site, and then the proximity to the fence as well.
Okay. Question?
It's just a general comment. I just realized that we're going through the holidays. And, so the timing is kind of like, you're not even a complete 30 days. So they just wanted to make sure, that we all aware of that.
Noted. Thank you.
Oh, you mean as far as the.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because
'cause
of
you got-
permitting, city closing down, for the holiday. So we might be a little bit gentler on other cases.
Okay, yeah, good point. Any questions for the code officer?
Are there any issues with the shed itself structurally that you can tell?
It's behind a fence, so I really couldn't stay.
Okay.
And have you had any conversations with the respondent, just to?
The respondent did
feeling.
contact me at one point and wanted to know if he could keep the shed, and I said he really needed to talk to community development about that. It'd be up to them to authorize that.
Yeah, okay.
Permitting process would determine that possibility.
Okay. All right. No other questions? I assume the respondent's here?
I believe so. Yep, here he is.
Okay. Hello? You state your name and address, please, first?
Alex Joseph Marcel, and I live in 5202 Blaine Drive for the past 5 years, since 2019. And I'm a resident of state of Florida for past 31 years. And this house is my third house in the state of Florida. I used to live in Charlotte County. I had two houses in Charlotte County. 1360 Vermont Lane, Punta Gorda, Florida. And the other one is 3438 Melissa Court, Punta Gorda, Florida. And this is my third house. Okay, I'm 70 years old. And I've been working very hard in this country since I left my country, Haiti. I've been here 42 years. Never got a parking ticket. Never got an accident. Okay, I built that shed. I didn't know I was supposed to get a permit to build it. But unfortunately, I built it, but now I'm in trouble. I'm looking for forgiveness, if they can forgive me, because right now I don't have any money to do anything, even to eat at my house. This much is very terrible for me. I'm looking for help. If you guys can help me, keep that shed, I will really appreciate it. Yeah, this is a big thing you did for me and my family, because I don't have any other source to do anything.
Well, do you understand?
I know I'm supposed to get a permit, because some friends told me if that shed is less than 150 square feet, I was supposed to get a permit. That was the reason that I built it. And I bought all the stuff at Home Depot for my credit card, because I need some extra room for if I got a family coming to put some stuff. But now I'm in trouble. If I can find a way to get out of trouble, then I will really appreciate it.
But you just need a permit. What's the cost of a permit for a?
I don't mind to.
I would guess around $80. I would guess around $80
Okay.
for a permit.
So it would cost you $80 to get a permit for the shed.
Okay.
And then at that point, from what I understand, the city would then determine whether or not the shed was in the proper location. It can't be, I think part of the rules are that it can't be right it had, wasn't it, has something to do with the.
Setback requirement?
Yeah, the setback
It's a
requirement. That's
5
what I
foot
was trying to
setback
say.
requirement.
I got a picture of it in my phone, if you were to look at it.
Yeah,
We also try to get a volunteer group to help him dismantle this shed, and that fell through. That didn't work out. So he has a choice of either removing and dismantling the shed, because he built it himself, so I'm sure he knows how to take it apart, or he's got to apply for a permit.
I can apply for a permit.
Yeah.
If they want me to pay for the permit, I will.
Yeah.
Even I don't have the money, but I will find a way to pay for it.
okay.
You know, because I've been a resident of Temple Terrace every month. If you look at my record, I never late with my bill. My check is always in the mail before they do that. Never got problem with anybody, because that check been in my lap for St. John, and since that time, Titi is still doing so.
Well, I guess if the permit comes back and they do say that there are concerns about proximity to the property line, the setback rules, all that, if you can't dismantle it and move it yourself, would you take the help of the volunteer group that they've worked?
The city we said they will provide me some volunteer to help me, you know, remove it. But I still got a phone number on my record for somebody to call, but they never get back to me.
Yeah.
Because I can find, I don't have a way to do anything, you know, if I can get some help.
Did you have a
Question for Tom. The shed as it is stands right now, is it, I know he did not submit for a permit, so you don't know the distances, but in your opinion, is it kind of legal position for it?
There's two factors here that I can see from the photo. There's no 5-foot setback requirement. It looks like it's right up against the fence. And two is there's all pavers in that rear yard. So he wouldn't be able to move the shed to another location. He's got to remove some of those pavers as well.
So
Yes.
he did not build it on a
slab?
platform or a slab?
Look, you want to see some picture? I got some picture on my phone.
We've seen the pictures, right?
Those are, though, it doesn't really come into play. It's whether he gets a permit and then, or he doesn't. I mean, that's what he's hearing.
Shed was purchased from Home Depot?
No.
No, the
Built it
parts.
himself.
He built it.
Yeah, you built it from scratch, from
Mhm.
just wood and,
Again,
I mean,
Again, with the-
if I knew I was supposed to get a permit to build it,
yeah.
there is no way I will build it without the permit.
Sir, you keep
Because
saying you're in
I
trouble. You're not in trouble. By the way, I just wanted to put you at ease. You're not in trouble. You keep saying, I'm in trouble, I'm in trouble. You're in violation, so.
know.
That's not trouble. But,
I know.
so the issue here is the permit, whether or not
yes,
he can
just the
apply a
permit, yeah.
permit.
If you can apply for a permit
And I
and,
think Officer Allen already said in his opinion, it looked like the shed was too close
to the,
to,
to the property line.
right. So it may have to be moved. But again, he has to get the permit through before we can.
We already heard that was a pretty quick turnaround process.
Correct. Yeah.
Even in light of the holidays being at the end of the month.
Would
That's
they,
good news.
would the community development tell him where he might be able to put it? If he had to move it, dismantle and move it?
Yes, if it was approved, or not approved, they would tell him where he can move it, so it would be approved,
Okay,
okay?
that's fair.
He might need engineering plans for that.
I don't think so for a shed, but I'm not 100%.
We had-
Any further questions for the respondent? All right, thank you. We're done with any questions for you, unless you have something else you wanted to say.
What should I do now?
Wait for us to make a motion. We'll we'll have a motion and we'll let you know what we decided, okay? And tonight, we're gonna do it right now.
Stay right there.
Yeah, you can stay right there if you want to.
I really appreciate it.
All right, so if there's no further questions for code or the respondent, I'm looking for a motion.
I'll try that one.
Okay.
In case number 243231, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exists on the property located at 5202 Land Drive. The applicable codes violation, Section 8-28, subsection A, subsection 1, permit application required. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer, Doug Allen, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and the notice of violation of which received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that the said violation be corrected on or before February 12th, 2025. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continue past that date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors, the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $25 per day.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion on this topic? All right, so let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No nays. The motion passes. So you've been found in violation of the city code. The fine is going to be $25 per day, but it won't occur. It won't start accruing until 30 days from today. So the next code board. Oh, was it 60? I'm sorry.
Yes, he said
February 12th. Okay, sorry.
I give him 60 days because, you remember, we're coming into holiday
Right.
season.
Okay, all right. So you have 60 days to get a permit approved by the city. And if there's some problem with the permitting process, you can always come back here and ask for an extension.
How can I do that?
You would
You just come back here.
just come back.
Yeah, permitting's on the first floor of City Hall.
Oh, okay.
First floor of City Hall, you can obtain a permit there.
To get a permit
Right.
or on the first floor?
Yeah, it's right here in this,
Okay,
in
so,
this building.
to do what?
So, any,
You
To
can come
pay
back
for the
tomorrow.
permit?
You can come back tomorrow and do it, honestly.
You have to get an application, and there's a fee attached to that application,
Okay.
okay?
I have to get an application from the first floor,
That's correct.
okay? Then I have to pay for the permit there.
Yes,
correct.
And then they will tell me what to do,
yes.
Right.
okay? And because if the city gonna, as they said to me, they will provide me help to do anything they want me to do because I don't have the,
Somebody will help him if it needs to be moved or being
The
adjusted.
volunteer group that I put together, it fell through. So I don't have a volunteer group to help him move it.
Oh,
Well, I don't have that group anymore.
Well, let's see what the city says, and then make
Yeah.
moves after that once there's some more information.
One step at a time.
So do you understand what just happened, or
no, I
you know how to move forward as far as getting a permit?
I can, if I get a permit, that's when I can keep the shed? Huh?
Well, not, we want you to come get a permit or get the permit, and then if it doesn't meet the requirements, then the city will tell you what you need to do to meet those requirements.
You can apply for a permit. That's gonna cost roughly $80 to apply for the permit. The city will then evaluate the location of your shed and the situation that you're in. And if they approve it, then you're good to go, no problem. If they don't approve it, then they may tell you where
First
the,
thing I have to do is to pay for the permit.
correct.
Okay, then I will do that.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well,
Have a blessed day.
you too, thanks.
I can go now? Thanks.
Photos for that case.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I moved everything over.
Yeah, I think we,
Oh.
here we
I
go.
was gonna, oh, it never happened.
I sat on him.
I was gonna say, I moved everything I got.
Sorry.
God.
So whenever you're ready, Joe, we can move to the next case whenever you're ready.
Next case is case 24-4516, City versus Cynthia T. L. Myers and Robin A. Bowen for the property located at 6224 Soaring Avenue. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 12-771, tree trimming invasive trees. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. The city has evidence that the notion of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively on October the 1st, 2024. My inspection revealed the east side, there was an oak tree on the east side that had been topped. Left a door hanger with the re-inspection date of the 4th of October, 2024. My inspection on October the 7th, 2024 revealed no change. Therefore, a notice of violation and notice of hearing, irreversible violation was prepared and scheduled for this evening's proceedings. No one was at home, so I did post the notice at the front door and requested copies be sent certified in first-class mail to the owner of record. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. Mr. Vice Chairman, Ms. Myers contacted me on October the 3rd, 2024. She stated she had spoken with Temple Terrace City Arborist Joe Ferris. Ms. Myers also stated she did not possess an arborist letter the date the oak tree was trimmed. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violation taken by me on the 24th of October, 2024.
May submit.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms.
Exhibit number 1 shows a notice letter posted at the front door. Exhibit number 2 shows the top stand oak trees east side of the property. As of today's date, the site is not in compliance, and I am seeking a ruling. The respondent is here in the courtroom in attendance this evening and would like to come up and address the board.
Fine. Could you?
Well, it's Joe Ferris.
Yes, sir, and the arborist, Joe Ferris, is here as well, if the board would happen to have any questions for the arborist.
Could you define topped, please?
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. I think Mr. Ferris will come up and
give
talk
us-
to you about all that. He's the expert in this area.
Okay.
One more question. When did this happen?
The day that I initiated, I saw, was October the 1st, 2024.
Before or after the hurricane?
So this was before.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with the hurricane.
Has nothing to do with the hurricane. Just for
I understand.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. So guess we need to hear from Joe next. Thank you.
Good evening. Joe Ferris, City Arborist. So as Lori stated, we're here due to the tree being topped. Per our code, topping is prohibited on any type of tree. The International Society of Arboriculture finds this an inappropriate practice that leads to damage when a tree is topped. To try to best explain, if I could bring that tree over here, it would be easier, but we'll just use my hand for instance. So this is the trunk of the tree. These are all the limbs going on the tree. Then they would grow out with other limbs in your full canopy. Topping takes and cuts it back to stubs, removing any canopy that's on there. Doing so stresses out the tree. It'll force the tree to send out suckers, or water sprouts they're called, on the tree. When it's stubbed out, the tree will never heal in that location, so it leaves it susceptible to disease and pest. Those water sprouts can get larger and they're a weaker attachment, so they can break off easier in the storms. Basically, the only time the practice of topping is appropriate is in the full removal of a tree. So if the tree had to come down, you'd be topping it to that point and then taking it down to the trunk of the tree or the stump. So in my own professional opinion, topping is basically a removal of the tree. The tree will never be the same again. Even if the water sprouts grow up, the aesthetic of, in this case, live oaks, is lost forever. You have essentially an ugly looking tree. So that's pretty much what topping it refers to. It's removing the entire canopy and leaving just stumps on there. I think that's pretty much on. Any questions on understanding topping or what
I
the
think I
practice
understand
is?
topping. I'm just curious about the condition. I guess you don't have any pictures of the condition of the tree prior to the topping. But in your opinion, the tree was healthy, right? I mean, there's
Yeah,
nothing.
it was a live oak, so it was a healthy tree.
So there's,
In my conversation with the property owner, she had hired someone to trim back from the roof of the tree. Obviously, they weren't understanding the proper cuts, and they cut more than what they should have. So what was done was not, again, appropriate cut for the tree.
And there was this, again, I think, if I remember right, you have, in order to do something like this, you would have to have a letter from an I don't know, the state laws have changed.
Yeah, that's if the company that was hired had an arborist on staff. I don't know that you would use an arborist letter to top a tree.
Right.
Most of the time, it's done to remove the entire tree. And yes, that would overrule any of our codes and requirements for permitting if the arborist letter was done ahead of time, but in this case, it was not.
And that would have to state, that letter would have to state that it's a risk to.
Yeah,
property
it's
or-
a whole report that they would have to, the homeowner has to possess that at the time, so it replaces the need of a permit. But again, I haven't seen where arborist letter's been used to top a tree. It's been used to fully remove trees.
Right.
And not leave these stubs out.
Well, because it could still fall. I mean, the trunk is still there.
Yeah, because eventually that'll just rot and decay, that where it's stubbed out is not in the location that a tree will heal itself. And again, it stresses itself out, which causes, the increase of the decline of the tree.
And the remediation is to plant.
Yeah, so
replace the
that's
trees that you've been in
what we're
discussion.
looking for is one of two options. If the homeowner is not willing to remove the remainder of the trees, because at this point, they should just be taken down, and replant another tree, we're looking for a fine of up to $5,000 for the work that was done. If the homeowner is responsive and willing to remove the stumps that's there and replant another 3-inch caliper live oak, then we're looking for a fine somewhere between $500 and $1,000. I will say I did speak with the homeowner the other day, and she is more than willing to rectify the situation, remove what's left of the tree, and replant.
And I assume the tree, we wouldn't require like, you have a permitting process, right, for removal of a tree, because the tree looks like it's.
Yeah, at this point,
pretty
I'm
bad
not
shape.
going to require a permit, because again, it's essentially already removing it. In my professional opinion, you top something like that, you've essentially just removed the tree, even though you have these weird kind of stems left.
So from the city's perspective, it would be replace the tree.
And then whatever fine you
And a
find
fine.
appropriate for the irreplaceable, irreversible damage.
Okay.
Have you looked at the tree? You went, visited the site?
Yes.
What's the current situation?
Right now, and you can see it in the pictures, there are water sprouts. So the leaves you do see are those water
Whatever you're
sprouts.
expecting is happening.
Yes, yes. But in time, again, that tree will begin to rot because it's not cut in the appropriate location. If you look at, again, I'll use my hand as an example. If this is a limb on the trunk of a tree, if you stub it here at the knuckle, it'll never heal. If it's cut back to where it's attached, the tree will naturally heal itself. So stubbing out will never heal the tree. And when you take the entire canopy off, then it really stresses the tree. If you do a few of these and they're stubbed out, some minor stress, but the entire thing, you're stressing that tree out, major.
Okay.
Problem, yeah.
Thank you.
Any further questions for the arborist?
Very informative, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're welcome.
thanks.
Yeah.
Respondents here, please approach and state your name and address.
Hi, hi, Mr. Vice Chairman and board members. My name is Cynthia Myers. The address is 6224 Soaring Avenue. I just kind of prepared something so that I can get through this. My mom and dad moved to Temple Terrace 40 years ago. They loved it here. My father passed away in May of 2021. My mom soon started to decline and was unable to live alone. It made it necessary for me to take care of her. So I left my life as I knew it, and it was an honor to do so. Needless to say, because they were in their 80s, there were a lot of things that had been neglected. I tried my best to remedy things as they came. In March this year, my mom became increasingly worried about the trees. She told me to ask our longtime yard guy, and I did, and I will say at this point, I wasn't who I was 3 years prior. I was exhausted and hoping for help in this situation. I spoke with the man that was referred to me, Ever Melger. He had done a couple of other neighbors, so I went and talked to them. He said he gave me his license and all of that, and I hired him because I didn't know what the processes were. So I assumed he knew what he was doing. That's the reason I hired someone. The last thing I ever wanted to do was harm those trees. Sorry.
Take your time.
It was never my intention. I love this community, and I've only tried to take care of our small place in it. Please find it in your heart to see that this was not deliberate or intentional. I thought I had done the right thing before hurricane season, and now no one feels worse about this than me. My mom passed away this August, and I have to say I'm relieved she never has to know how horribly wrong this went. I feel I failed her. I have contacted multiple arborists, but I'm running into what everybody's running into since the hurricane. I get put on a waiting list or people don't call me back. I have gotten an estimate to remove the trees, and I will do that. It's because I did talk to Joe. I was doing my research, hoping to remedy it, maybe do a long-term something that would save them. But it sounds like, and like I told them, I was raised by hippies, and they were all about the land and the trees. This is, and I told Lori I'm gonna plant another tree, and maybe I'll just make it a memorial to my parents. But I honestly didn't. I had no idea. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to hopefully understand what I was trying to do. Sorry.
It's okay. Anybody have any questions for the respondent?
I have a question for Ernie. Like, with this, when we make a motion, I've never made a motion to where remove the tree, plant the tree. Is that all we would really have to say? Like, because normally it's a monetary fine, but if it's not gonna be that, you know, I guess I've never made a motion.
Sure, the arborist did request a nominal fine for compliance and a
Yeah.
larger fine for non-compliance, so that's
Right.
still part of the discussion.
Yeah.
But it's up to us to even, I think, waive the fine and just have her plant a tree. Because it's not intentional.
I know.
Well, I guess discussion is generally for after, I'll say. But that was the question, because I wasn't sure how to make the motion.
There's special protocol for this kind of a motion?
Okay, well, I was initially going to answer your first question, which I think we kind of got to at the end, is, the request is, first of all, you'd have to make the determination whether or not there's a violation and whether or not it's irreparable, irreversible. If you do make that finding, then what the city has asked for is basically a contingency, a fine of X if there's no replacement, removal of the tree and replacement, or a lesser fine if the tree is removed and there is a replacement for it. So I say, however you guys want to try and word that, we can try and, help you work through that.
Do you remember what the maximum fine was? I think it was $5,000.
Yes.
That's if they don't, that's in compliance.
But for compliance with the motion, it would be between 500 and 1,000 he requested.
That was the request, okay. All right.
One more question for Eddie. I know it says minimum 500 up to 5,000.
No, he just said that's what the city is,
That's what the city was
city's requesting. We
But
can
it's up to us
do anything,
do
whatever we want.
Because if she plants a tree, that's gonna be also costly for her, so, and I think it was not done
I think
intentionally.
the,
removing the
ci-
tree is gonna be more
the-
expensive.
It's
yeah,
gonna be removing the.
because the
existing
city will provide a tree.
I don't think we're going to be able to provide that tree.
No,
Removing the tree is gonna be more expensive.
we're gonna remove the
definitely
tree.
consult
Especially of the caliper that really needs to be to replace this.
2-inch,
I
He
think
said
it's,
3.
I think Joe
If it's-
requested 3-inch.
3-inch.
3, yes.
Yeah,
Definitely consult.
was the tree behind the house?
It's on the side of the house, and they just kind of got where they were growing so much that they were kind of on the house, and it was around April, and Mom was getting edgy about it, and what I'd asked him to do was I said, can you trim it back off the house? I didn't,
You just,
Yeah, and I did, but then I thought, I looked
Give
at
it a
it,
buzz
and
cut.
I told him, I said, doesn't, that looks odd. He said, well, it'll grow back. And I'm like, well, then I don't have to deal with it for a long time, because I had so many projects. You know, I took bushes down to like baby size, so I didn't have to deal with them for years, because I was taking care of mom and I was working and, you know. And so I thought, well, okay, they look ugly, but maybe I won't have to deal with them for a long time, you know? I didn't, like I said, I just didn't understand. I understand now, and that's where the tears come from, is that just to harm the trees, like say the way I was raised, I'm just glad I don't have to tell my mom about this, you know?
Sometimes it's a good idea before hurricane season to
Yeah,
trim the
absolutely.
trees and get them away from the house.
That was the
God
intention.
forbid,
Yeah,
you know,
sounds like-
because a lot of damage that happened to roofing and
The
to,
vendor
it's
just went
because,
rogue.
because of,
Oh, yeah.
you know, overgrown trees over the house.
Oh, yeah.
But this is
They did too, yeah.
topping. That's a new word, the word for today is topping.
Right, I found out all about it.
Now we find out what it is, topping. Thank you, Ferris.
All right, so any further questions? All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Looking-
looking for a finding, and anybody want to try this one?
Yes, this is gonna be, there is a violation, and we're gonna read it like, with a one lump sum fine, with also enforcing and planting, removal of the tree,
You gotta be on-
planting a new one.
Yeah, I think you're gonna be on your own here as far as.
Yeah, I will,
script, but-
Yeah.
Well, and there is a
Do we have one?
irrevocable or reversible.
Oh, I guess there is one in there, that's right. But I don't know that it goes into the detail that,
Not, yeah, I mean, this would be.
Where's that?
there was. I don't have the,
We have a repeat, we have a
Yeah,
foreclosure.
we don't have any of that language in
We
our
don't
packet.
have, we have the complied
I
with
would say give it
exist.
your best shot. If you feel,
Yeah, I will give it my best shot, and I'll try. We'll see, we'll fix it if it's. In case number 244516, I move that the city has fined the property located at 12214 North 51st Street.
No,
Sorry,
below.
6224 Soaring Avenue, in a violation of topping and overtopping of a tree,
Section.
section, you get.
section 12771, which is also falls under invasive tree cutting. This motion is made to, based on the evidence, including photos, affidavit, and the notice of violation, is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that the said violation be corrected on or before.
This is irreparable, we
sorry.
need to get that.
Yeah, let's work on this, Ernie.
Yes.
Again, if,
Well,
the
well, no-
city would be asking that this be a finding of irreparable, irreversible,
Yes.
which then would kick in a flat fee and not a daily.
Yes, the city fine, do I have to start again, or?
well, one question, what, does he have to give a date for tree removal and tree planting?
Yes.
I can see 60 days, within 60 days.
Yeah, I mean, it would certainly be helpful, and I think it would even be helpful for the
60 days,
respondent to have some
yes.
sort of timetable. But understand that it being, yeah, it would not be a daily fine or along those lines, but
Yes.
Okay.
give it a shot and see if you can include in there like a deadline to have this done.
The city has found that this action has been
Can
irreparable.
we- It's the board's finding, not the city's finding.
Yeah, okay. This board finds this situation is irreparable and irreversible, thus requiring a 60 days first for removal of the existing damaged tree, and then planting the minimum requirement of the 3-inch live oak in replacement, plus imposing a $100 fine for the reversible and improbable removal. The deadline for this to be completed is,
We won't need a deadline.
Huh?
It's irreparably reversible.
yes,
Given a deadline,
for the planting of the new tree is February 12th, 2025.
Does that sound?
So,
That's good? Okay.
How, do I have to clean it up again, or?
I thought there was two parts to it. I thought first, you have to state what the consequences are if the property is not brought into compliance. If she doesn't chop the old tree down, and if she doesn't plant a new tree, then you can have a fine up to $5,000.
No, because I thought it was, because
And
it
then-
was irreparable and irreversible, it was a flat fine and.
So it would go as a lien against the property if it was not completed.
And then the
Correct.
second part was if she does comply within the 60 days, then we could also impose a small fine between, the city asked for between $100 and $500. So there was kind of a two-part, that's the way I understood it.
That is correct.
Yeah, so you basically, you gotta tell us what's gonna happen.
Is the fine, definitely, we have to impose one fine? Is there a fine gonna happen?
If
That's up to the board.
we decide to, there's two fines, two possible fines. One is if she does not come into compliance, if she doesn't take the old tree down, if she doesn't plant a new tree, then there is probably a higher fine that we could impose.
Let's try again.
And then if she does comply, then it's also possible that we could impose a lower fine between $100 and $500. That's what the city was asking for. So it's kind of a two-part. So, I don't know.
Let's start again.
You're doing great.
give her another shot.
We'll give it another shot. Can you sit next to me and?
You may not hold your hand.
In case number 24-4516, the city has found that the property located at 6224 has an irreversible and irreparable and with a violation of section 12-771 in tree trimming and invasive tree cutting, topping. The board has found, based on the testimony of the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos and affidavit, the board is seeking to have the tree removed and replanted a new tree in place of this damaged tree. The deadline for that is February 24th, 2025.
February 12th.
Huh?
February 12th, 2025.
February 12th, 2025. If the respondent does not plant or do the required work to rectify this situation, they can be having a fine up to $5,000.
You need to specify. Go ahead.
If
The board would like.
if the
No,
I
wait.
can try, and I will talk with the respondent and try and draft a template of a motion for you,
Please.
That'd be awesome.
yes.
but I'll need a couple of minutes.
Yes, please.
Take your
Please, I think,
I would maybe ask that you go to the next case.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I'll speak with the respondent and try and come up with some wording.
Should we
you
confirm
very
what
much.
exactly it is that he wanted to?
I will work in with Joe.
Okay.
all right. Perfect.
Thank
That'll
you.
save us a lot of,
Oh, right.
yeah, it's.
I did
it's
a little better. Not bad.
No, that was a tough one.
It's a lot easier when you can, it's a lot easier when you can just read off the,
Yeah, we'll circle back.
So we're gonna,
We still have a few new,
we-
new cases, I think.
It's up to you.
are we gonna go back to,
Yeah, we're gonna move on
to the
and circle back
to
when
the-
Ernie returns with our drafted motion. Right?
we're gonna, there was another person,
We have, the next one on the schedule was supposed to be one of the presentation of unfinished MCEV cases, but we did have a gentleman come in after the meeting started, and we had finalized the agenda order. He's actually the first one under new cases.
Okay.
Mr. Vice.
oh, okay.
I was just gonna go in the
Oh,
order.
okay.
Add,
I got you.
Go to the unfinished cases, then we'll finish up with the last person for new cases.
Okay?
Okay.
Vice Chairman, would I make a motion to have a 5 minutes?
Sure, you wanna take a recess?
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
5-minute recess.
Yeah, that'll give Ernie time to
yes.
hash things out, and maybe we'll be ready when we get.
Second.
5-minute break.
Yes.
Yep.
5-minute recess.
Mr. Chair, I have spoken with the respondent. We have worked together on some language. The language is in front of the Rod right now. So I was letting them know that we had agreed on the language of this motion and everything, so.
And again, I have to state the address of the property, which is not included in here.
Okay, I'm sorry I missed that, yeah.
It's fine?
Can we just steal from the first paragraph here?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
steal the first.
Yeah, the first paragraph, okay. Let's try again. In case number 24-4516, with the address located at 6224 Soaring Avenue, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence that the respondent has violated section 12-771 of the City of Temple Terrace City Code. I further move that this is irreversible and irreparable violation. If the respondent removes the tree and plants a 3-inch caliber replacement live oak, the fine will be $100. However, if the respondent does not remove and replace the tree, the fine will be $1,000. Removal and replacement should be completed within the next 6 months.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, ask, excuse me, take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No nays. Motion passes. So I think, since you helped write the motion, you probably understand exactly what's going on, so.
I will, they gave me a little bit more time, but I intend to get right to it, and it's just a matter of if I get somebody out there, that's the only thing that's gonna delay it. I'm prepared to, take care of it,
You know,
but I appreciate the extra time.
Finding a tree company right now may be difficult.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Thank you.
yeah, I'm sorry you lost the tree, so
I just have a question for
parents.
it
Already
happened.
lost
Not
your folks.
specify-
Yeah, and your mom too.
And your parents.
Yeah, no, I learned a lot about trees. That I didn't know. I will never do that again.
I have one question for Ernie. We said within the next 6 months, so the code enforcement officers or who's gonna be?
Mr. Ferris will be
Ferris
monitoring
will-
this situation.
Will be, yeah, because we did not specify a specific day.
I understand.
Yes.
Yes, again, Mr. Ferris is well aware of what the requirements are.
Yes.
We'll work with the respondent.
All right. Next case?
Wonderful.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Under unfinished business, this is case 24-4577, City versus Andrew D. Henry for the property located at 329 Sunnyside Road. The deadline for compliance is midnight tonight. A fine of $25 per day begins on December 12th, 2024.
So wait,
Which case? Oh, there.
Last one.
are we going to the,
No, well, he's here,
oh,
so,
Are we doing unfinished business?
Yes.
because he's here.
This is the gentleman on Redwood Avenue. 3477 case.
Oh,
yeah, this is the, I don't
I
see,
think I read the wrong one.
yeah. So,
So this is case 24-3477.
okay,
City versus Navajo-Vano.
Okay.
gotcha, okay.
Again, the deadline for compliance is midnight tonight. A fine of $25 per day begins on December 12th, 2024.
Just to refresh the board, this was a permit requirement for a shed that was installed on the property, and the respondent is here today. Sir, you want to get up at the podium and address the board?
You still need your name, his name and address, right?
My name is Silvano Nava, and I live at 203 Redwood Avenue.
Okay, thank you.
Basically, all I'm here for today is to see if I can get an extension. November 12th, I applied for the permit. They have the paperwork. I'm just waiting for it to be approved. It's been a month, and basically, I'm just waiting till it gets done.
Is there any reason, I thought you were, earlier we said permits would be processed fairly quickly. Is there a?
The application has to be screened by a city planner to make sure they have a setback requirement and all that. So it does take time. But the gentleman's already stated he's applied already.
Yeah.
He's just waiting the 30 days.
Okay. So any questions?
I have a
Okay.
question. Do you think in 30 days, including the holidays that's coming up, we'll be in good shape to, did you get any response back within a month?
Well, I spoke with them every week since the 12th. My last one was last week or Monday. I think I called you, Doug, and left you a message.
That's long.
Doug, sorry. Left a message, but I've talked to them once a week because I like to get this resolved too. So I wasn't thinking about the holidays, as you mentioned. So more than likely, I don't think I'll hear from this until probably January. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I was hoping to have it done before the end of the year, but I mean, all I'm waiting for is for them to approve it.
Yeah, it's just a permitting process. I think the shed's already there, right? It's not,
No, I stopped because I wasn't
oh, okay.
all the way done. I mean, it's halfway done. So we stopped work until I get the permit.
At this point, it's in the city's hands, sounds
Right.
like.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard for him to estimate how long it's gonna take.
Yep,
because
he's done
the-
everything in
the
his
city's the
power.
one that, yeah.
Can I make a motion on this?
Sure.
Can I make a motion to extend to February 12th of 2025?
Second.
60 days is a little bit much.
Well, I mean, but it's January 8th, like, that's right after the new year. If we go to January, it's right after the new year, and you have Christmas and all that in the middle. Like, that's my only reason to go to February, because if he's already waited a month and he's not heard anything, if he's already applied for it, like, there's not much more he can do. And I don't know what PTO looks like at the city, to be honest.
I agree with
But-
Brian, because I wish I realized that with the gentleman with the pool, to be honest with you. You know, I went with you, then I did not realize that we're coming into Christmas and a New Year. And that's, you're talking about almost 20 days, and you're giving our citizens here very, very short time to kind of like comply.
It's up to the board's decision.
Yeah, it's our decision.
I'm okay on this,
Okay,
the
so-
February 12th.
All right, so,
She seconded.
we have a motion, you have a second, okay. Any further discussion? All right, time to take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No nays, motion passes, so
Thank you, guys.
you do have an extension till, for actually 60 days, so.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I'll have it done before then if I get an approval, but
That'd be great.
I'll wait till I get it.
Appreciate your awareness of the calendar and the upcoming
Yeah,
closures.
I wish I realized that
I know.
earlier. I was
Contracts,
just
yeah.
too cold.
They did that at first, but they told me that the reason was for, the, code approvals for the materials being used. What they neglected to tell me was that there is a website from Florida that gives you those numbers. So once I figured that out, then I was able to go ahead and put everything that I had bought and put it into that.
Which one?
All right. So, all right, so we're ready to move to the next case, and we're gonna go back to the top.
We are back to new cases.
Okay.
Next case is case 24-2353, City versus James Allen Joyce A.G. Evans for the property located at 11305 East Queensway Drive. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of section 10-4B4A, nuisance buildings 90 days. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case this evening originated back on May 20th, 2024, when I received an early morning phone message from Fire Chief Hayward that this home was damaged due to a fire that started inside the garage. My visit that same day noted heavy fire and water damage to the structure, garage structure. Code staff monitored the property for several months. On November 6, 2024, I advised Officer Smith to prepare a notice of violation with a compliance date of November 25, 2024. Since the home is unoccupied, she posted the notice letter at the front door, and she requested copies be sent out first class and certified mail. She also requested a copy to be posted on an electronic board at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. My inspection on November 25th, 2024 noted no change. Therefore, I prepared the necessary documents to have this violation presented at this evening's code board. At this time, I'd like to enter into evidence photos taken by Lori Smith and I. Exhibit number 1 shows the fire structure damage that was taken by Lori Smith on May 23rd, 2023. Exhibit number 2 is taken by me on November 25th, 2024, noting the fire structure. At this time, I'd like to submit.
You may, please submit. Did you say 2023?
2024.
Oh, okay. One of them, there was,
On May 23rd,
Oh, sorry.
Lori took a photo,
I got you.
and November 25th, 2024 was taken by me.
Okay.
Was this the chimney?
This was the chimney case that was done probably about 2 years ago.
Yeah, okay,
This is the same property.
okay.
My concern about the structure is there's a school that's right around the block from this property. There's children cutting through the vacant lot next door to this home that cuts through to East 113th Avenue. So there is children going in that area. The neighbors are a little bit concerned that this structure's been sitting idle for a while. Other than that, as of today, there's no change to the property. The respondent is here this evening to address the board.
You feel like the property's secured,
It's secured.
enough to keep kids out of the?
He's got the boards up against the windows, and he's got yellow tape going around the structure, but still, children will be children, and of course, it's just a safety issue of concern. So it is in a violation of the 90-day nuisance to the neighbors. So if you read the violation, in the violation itself, under section A, it distracts from the appearance of the immediate neighborhood or reduces the value of the property of the immediate neighborhood. So.
Okay, that's the 90-day nuisance.
Yes, so.
Ordinance, okay.
Are there any questions for me?
Yes, how long this happened? How long it's been?
This initiated from a phone call on May 20th, 2024.
May.
May 20th, 2024.
You said the property had been unoccupied for a while.
Since the fire, the home has been occupied.
And the fire occurred,
In the garage,
but what date did it occur on?
May 20th.
Okay, so it all happened at the same time? Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha,
yep.
Gotcha.
And it's not occupied at all.
It's unoccupied.
Okay. No.
And it's secured, but is there like a fence around the property line or
No,
anything?
no.
Okay.
Everything is boarded. Everything, the front door, everything is boarded.
Yes.
I see the garage.
The front door is not boarded,
Huh?
but wherever the fire was, the garage, the main structure,
Yeah.
that is boarded up.
Okay.
It's exactly what we see in the picture.
That's
what's
correct.
there in the right.
That was taken just the other day.
Any other questions for the code officer? All right, so I assume the respondent's here tonight, yeah. Tyler, you want to come up? Please approach.
I'm James Evans. I lived at 111-305 East Queensway Drive. All the other people have been up here. I've lived in Terrace longer, and I'm older than anybody plus one other in this room. My family moved here in 1955, and I've been a resident since. I've lived on about 5 different addresses. I've known every mayor and sheriff, and chief of police. Pam Bondi's mother asked me if I would arrange a meeting with her daughter and my wife, who's an attorney, to see if she could recommend a law school to her after she graduated from college. And Pam spent about 2 weeks with my wife as her assistant, took her to all her cases, took her to court, took her to depositions, took her to juries, and Pam loved it and decided to go to law school, which she did at Stetson. So Patsy is her mother's name. She was my 4th grade teacher. Mrs. Fee, the mayor's wife, was my 1st grade teacher. I attended 3rd grade at the annex next there to the first hole of the golf course. So I've been around here. My house is not abandoned. It's a fire. It's totally destroyed. It's going to be torn down. The insurance company is dragging their feet, unbelievably, and I can say this, at least in one side of their tardiness, is with all the hurricanes and all the other losses they've had, they are so overwhelmed. I can call them, leave a message, I'll hear from them like 3 days later, 4 days later, and then usually it's just another message coming back to me. But it will be torn down. They've tried to offer me a ridiculously, basically 40 cents on the dollar of their own estimate. 40 cents, 40% basically of the assured amount, which I'm not going to accept. They also offered to give me $3,000 to gut the house, to take all the, everything out of it, which is a total loss. I'll be happy to give you all my phone and you can look at all the pictures. What they've had me doing for those 4 months, I've been living in a hotel. I have pets at the house that are still there. I go over every day and feed them and water them. My neighbors do not have a problem, contrary to what you may have heard. I'm good friends with the neighbors. The neighbor on my left is mowing the yard for me. He's using my mower. It escaped the flames, and I managed to fix it enough so that he could use it, so he mows my yard. And my neighbor on the right lets me use their water to water the animals and to water the plants. I've maintained the yard. I've mowed it. I keep it grass cut. The day of the fire, which was the 20th at night, it was in their narrative here, despite being advised of the violation on May 20th. There was no violation I was being advised of on the 20th because that was the date of the fire. I think that's just incentive to try to make it look better, worse than it is. But I'm at the mercy of the insurance company. I can't do anything until they settle, at least on the interior. They even tried a little sneaky one. I've had to hire an attorney. I've hired a professional adjuster. The insurance company has tried, they've sent like 4 arson and requested like 4 arson investigations. They had a chemical analysis done, spots throughout the house looking for any type of accelerants or anything they could find chemically so they can try to hang something and try to avoid paying me. All have been negative. They've given up on that finally. But now they've like, well, they want me to itemize. And so I go over there, feed the pets. I spend about an hour. I have COPD, and the house is pretty nasty inside. I've got pictures on my phone. I'll be happy to let y'all pass my phone around and look at it. But I go over there and I spend an hour or two. It's about as much as I can stand, digging through and making a list, because they don't want a blanket like a box of shoes. They want to know how many shoes are in that box and what brand of the shoes in the box. I've got, right now, I've submitted over $400,000 just in personal possessions that I've taken pictures of and combed through that house for months. They're not paying for me to live. They're reviewing it. I finally got sick of living in a hotel for 4.5 months, and we just rented an apartment up in New Tampa, so I drive down, like I said, once a day, almost every day. Sometimes it's every other day. But the day after the fire, I met with the fire chief here. He said there was no arson. I stayed with him that night. He did an examination. He found no evidence of arson, said so. My investigator had a separate investigation, no arson. But anyway, long story short, at that time, they said we needed to enclose, we need to seal the house up or protect it, or make it safe. So we boarded up the 4 garage doors, which they had chainsawed through, or concrete saw, whatever they used, the firefighters to get into the garage. And we put a padlock on the front door, secured the windows, and put braces across the back doors in addition to the door locks. But as far as the maintenance goes, I'm doing everything I can to keep the place looking normal. And saying that there's nothing been changed since they were there, that's not true. I mean, Lori called me, said I needed to secure the site, make sure, and yeah, there was a piece of plywood loose on one of the garage doors. I fixed that. I checked all the locks, checked the windows, made sure the yard's keeping mowed. I talk to my neighbors literally every day, almost every day. I can't say every day, but and nobody's complaining at me. They're still offering to help me. I get calls like, hey, like after the last hurricane, I had a tree fall in the back of the house. And I'm still paying $600 and some odd a month insurance to State Farm on that house. Do you think they're going to give me a claim on the insurance from additional damage from the hurricane? Fat chance. And I sit here and I read this stuff through, and it's like I'm doing everything that I should be doing. I'm the one that's the victim. I'm the one that's getting slaughtered here. My wife and I grew up here. Everything I've owned, everything I've had since I was in 1st grade was in that house. My mother's china's in there. My parents are dead. Her parents are dead. Well, her father, as a matter of fact, her father's one of the, you guys used to use him quite a bit. He's a retired circuit judge, lives here in Terrace. and over on St. Augustine. And you talk about something that's been sitting for a long time, go drive down St. Augustine where they fixed the road, ran a pipe down it, filled the trench in halfway, and you drive down that road and it's like driving down a dirt buckboard road. It's tearing up cars practically. And nobody runs over there to fix that. And you come over and tell me I should do something when I don't have the insurance yet. I'm not the one trying not to fix this house, but I am doing everything I can legally do to maintain it and keep it safe and not be a nuisance and not be a problem. I could be sitting in a hotel eating food and letting somebody else worry about the tall weeds, but I'm not. I'm doing what I could, and I think this is a travesty. It's not dilapidated. It's not partially constructed. It's not abandoned. If it is, I'd sure like to see a credit on my taxes. That would be a godsend. But it's not there. Now, will State Farm do anything between now and the next 30 days? Probably not. We got depositions set for January. I don't know what they want to ask me. I'm sure they're going to try to ask me some silly ass questions about, do I store absurd amounts of gasoline or something? No, but anyway, I just got a notice from the attorney that they had deposition scheduled for January. What they're going to depose, I don't know. But there's nothing I can really do other than what I'm doing. I'm keeping it neat. I'm keeping it clean. I'm keeping trash down. I'm not letting debris build up. They did tell me I could haul the garage pieces off that were that the fire department cut down that were inside the tape. I went to the fire department, got more tape, put tape across the front. That lot next door is not an empty lot. That is my property. You guys have been parking on it for over 20 years. Most of y'all know where you start, when you switch your parade route to Gillette, that corner of 113th and Gillette, that whole field there, that's my backyard. Y'all park there every year. You park your equipment. You've been parking there for 20 years. The police sit behind those clump of trees there and get people speeding through the school zone and running that stoplight. And I tell them, you're welcome. I take water out to them. You know, I love Temple Terrace. I've been here forever. And I just feel like this is just, I can't believe I'm even here. But it is what it is. And like I said, there is absolutely nothing I can do at this moment to change anything until State Farm does whatever they're going to do, or the attorney, we go to court. But until then, I'm stuck just doing the best I can. And hopefully they'll finally get around to it. I mean, it's got to happen sooner or later. But that's where I'm at. I just think this is ludicrous. You know, I'm sorry, but I do. Try not to get angry. But I know that first sentence just really set me off. That I was advised before the fire even started that I was in violation of the fire code, you know, or something of that nature. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to shut up. That's enough for me.
Probably have some questions.
You want to ask some questions?
Yes.
Please do.
First of all, I just wanted to be clear, you do have insurance.
Yes, sir.
And you have
It's fully insured.
Okay, so they already, you have a case with them?
Yes.
And,
They filed the claim. They've made an offer on the structure. They have a pending, they offered like $3,000 for demolition, which wouldn't even, the lowest bid has been $20,000. It's just stupid stuff. But it's like, oh, well, you're not cooperating.
I think insurance companies operate in.
Well, there's, under the,
Probably Brian can help.
most of all,
Register, and he looks at the situation.
Right.
It's total damage. Now, is the fire in the garage affected the entire house?
yeah, it burned
Probably
up through
smoke
into the second
damage.
floor, went up through the attic.
Yes.
It burned through the
Smoke does
trusses.
more damage than
Yes,
fire.
smoke
The
damage.
smoke is horrendous, and I can show you the pictures. There's a smoke ring all the way around the house, about 2 feet down, and around the second floor and the first floor both. If you look at the house closely, you can see the ridge vent of the master bedroom on the top second level. The ridge vent's all buckled, and there's actually holes burned through the shingles.
And you have enough coverage to.
I've got ample coverage. Now,
That's
I
what.
think he said they were offering him 40
cents on the dollar.
40% of what his insured for, right?
Yeah, of what, and their own estimate. That's what, you know, so they're like, well, if you're not gonna accept it, then we want you to detail everything, you gotta
You
prove.
hire an attorney.
Yes.
Yeah, he has.
You already told us.
And a PA.
Yeah, there's three parts to this. We've already filed suit on the oldest part. And the other parts, we're still still arguing with them. Now, they just recently had, they asked me to get an estimate to rebuild the whole structure. And I signed that in. It's like 45 pages of
Yeah.
detail. I sent it in. They sent it back because the company's name didn't have the phone number on the front page. It was on the back page, and they said they wanted a copy with the phone number on the front page. That's the kind of trivia, stupid stuff.
Playing devil's advocate here, the second floor over the garage, you could
That's
see it was
gone.
open. But you could see it was kind of open, even though the first level is sectioned off.
Yeah.
Could that be closed off at all?
No, not
No.
really.
It not safely?
It looks like there's a staggering element. I don't
Yeah.
know if there's
Yeah,
a tarp big enough to
You've got
support
burned
that.
up floor joists going back about the
You wouldn't
first
want to walk.
10 or 15 feet.
Okay.
And then you've got a bearing beam, and the center of the room is still fairly solid.
Okay.
I'm not advised to, but I've walked through there. The firemen walked through
Well, and
there.
the reason I ask is it looks like it's open to the elements. If the floor was there, and I've worked in insurance and engineering, so that's kind of what, when you say floor joist, okay, if it's not safe to stand on, you can't do that. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, they've advised me not to get it. Even my engineers have said, Jim, don't
Don't do
go
it.
out there.
Okay. And I was just like,
But it's like catch-22. I need a list. So I'm taking pictures all everywhere from in the windows and.
Yeah, I wanted to mention to you, Mr. James, the violation is the code,
Right.
it's a code, which is nuisance building for over 90 days.
Right.
Whether your neighbors, with respect to your neighbors and with respect to all the community around, this is just a code. So whatever we can, we're trying to do, help you with the time, but at the same time, have some kind of reasonable time from you. How long do you think?
I'm going to jump in here real quick, because I have been through this process about 4 years ago. My house, I'm around the corner from you, my house burned down. It was during the pandemic, so everything took extra long. So he is truly at the mercy of the insurance company right now. He is doing everything he's supposed to be doing. But there are just certain icebergs that this really talented gentleman cannot budge on his own. So I don't think there's too much room for debate here. I think it's pretty cut and dry that it is not a nuisance building. He is doing everything he is supposed to be doing. But even with the best of, I think, intentions, you can't force an insurance company to act any quicker.
Question for Tom. So as far as the violation, the nuisance violation, is that tied in any way to neighbors' complaints, or is that's just a city ordinance that
That's just where it says in part 4, it says partially destroyed structure.
Right.
And that's what this structure is. It's partially destroyed. The gentleman's even agreeing that we're
Right.
gonna have to tear down the structure.
Right.
So I'm just bringing.
Right.
code
So
violation.
it really has nothing to do with the neighbors' complaints.
Yeah, no,
It's all
so
about-
this is for
So-
Tom, we see he's taking the steps that he can. Is there anything else that he could do aside from just paying to rebuild the whole house himself and wait for State Farm to do it or pay him back? Is there anything else that he can do to try to appease the city in the meantime? Because again, we're seeing that he's taking step A, step B, step C, like he's doing the things that he needs to.
Right.
Like, but what else at this point could we expect of him aside from that?
So the fire was May 2024.
Yeah.
7 months later, I'm presenting this case.
Right.
Correct.
Okay, so
I-
I
yeah.
didn't wait till the 91st day of the violation
Oh, yeah.
to present it. This is 7 months, so.
That's the pace that
what
the
I-
insurance companies move at.
If you want to do a continuance and we'll present this again in 2 more months from now, that's fine, I'm okay with that. But the city wants to move forward with this property, because it cannot remain the way it is for over a year. I mean, I don't, so the violation's there, my opinion, it's the board's decision. So I'll leave that up to you. But there's nothing he else can do to rectify the violation, either
Aside from repair.
fix it, repair it, or
Yeah.
tear it down.
Okay.
Which is, the tearing down part is planned.
Um,
Don't know when we get authorization.
So it's planned. Do you have a date yet?
No, when I say planned,
Oh, you know it has to happen.
it has to happen. I mean, I did the new plans based on the whole shoot. That's one of the arguing points with them too, is their estimates were based on tearing everything down to the first floor and then bringing the first floor up to code and trying to reuse the existing, like the block walls. But they didn't want to pay for new, like studs downstairs. I mean, it's just, to me, it's just ridiculously stupid stuff that they want to argue over. And we're like, to go in there, I mean, I'm a retired builder. I've built houses, I've built over 1,000 homes, probably. To bring that house up to code, it was built in '87. So I would have to put in rebar every 4 feet. Every window in the house has to be replaced. Well, they all have to be replaced anyway because of the fire damage. There's not a window in that place that isn't burned. All smoke, all curled. But anyway, build the foundations, have to repair the walls, have to cut the concrete slots in the wall, drop in rebar and re-pour, try to pump the wall. I mean, the cost is, my argument was, it's stupid to try to fix it. You might as well just knock it all down and at least take it down to the slab and go from there, because then you can add the rebar in fairly easily. But that's what I'm saying. They're saying, well, you could probably fix it for, that's why they had me had to go hire a contractor and sign a contract that he can build it for X amount of dollars, based on those estimates that he's got, and they're within the State Farm's estimates too. And that went off, we sent back the second copy, earlier, at the very end of last week, like last Thursday.
So, I had a question for Ernie. So, as an attorney, do you have any experience on how long processes like this would normally take? I mean, just to give us a framework on.
there is such a thing as normal for these things.
A framework for us to come up, if we're gonna do something like a continuance or whatever.
More than anyone else, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
My experience is the same observational that everyone else has, which is it seems to be taking a long time, especially with the hurricanes. I would suggest or recommend that we follow Mr. Baroni's suggestion. I mean, we have a violation here, but we understand what the circumstances are. I don't think we should get rid of this case. I think maybe I would ask that we continue this case out. Let's see where it's at. We do come back in a couple of months. You'll have had the depositions. It may even be to his advantage that he's got a code violation on it that would help with the insurance company. But, the downside is that we have a structure that has been partially destroyed, and quite a bit of it, and how long is it gonna sit there?
Right.
And that's where,
fair.
that's where we're at. So, my recommendation at this point would be, hey, let's come back in February, we'll see how the depositions went, and just revisit this case then.
Yeah, we can find it in violation, I think maybe it will help him with a higher per day, put a pressure on the.
Can we offer the continuance and then see what the world looks like in February once he's had
Well, they're asking for a finding.
depositions?
Do we have to have a finding
They
tonight?
have to have a finding.
They're asking for a finding.
Well,
No.
again, Mr. Baroni did offer to continue this case out.
He did.
I kind of think that might be a good idea.
So we don't,
I think that's a good idea as well.
If these depositions happen, we might have a better idea of where it's at, so that we can, act appropriately, or the board can act.
so the answer is we don't need a finding on the
But we,
violation tonight.
eventually,
Or a continuance.
we'll be needing
Eventually we
to
will,
have a finding, but we're gonna try and accommodate with the situation. We know what the insurance situation is in Florida right now.
Look like you're ready to.
I am happy to move to continue this until, in case number, we'll say, 24-2353? At the address of 11305 East Queensway Drive, code section 10-4B4A. I'm happy to continue this until February 12th of 2025.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
A second, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all right. Any further discussion on this? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No nays? Motion passes, so.
Oh, I'm sorry you have to come back, and I'm sorry you have to deal with all that.
You know, like I said, it was just one of those things that you do everything you can, but my wife can't even go in the house. I mean, she just looks at it and she won't even go there.
But you're planning to coming back to Temple Terrace, though?
Yeah, I'm not planning on leaving. I've lived here I'm planning to stay here. Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Maybe you can give Pam Bondi a call and see if she can.
Yeah, I was so excited.
She can help, the Attorney General, she can help you.
Attorney General, I was just like, I was calling my wife, Pam got nominated. Just saw it on the news.
All right, thanks. Thank you. All right, I think we're ready to move on to the next case.
Next case is case 24-4469, City versus Randy Ellen Punsack and Jenny Ella Punsack. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 10-34, sanitation, duty to keep premises clean. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Director Tom Baroni. The city has evidence that the notion of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Code Compliance, Tom Baroni. This case was presented last month. This was a case that I presented for a fence violation and tree debris that was in the front yard. The respondent came up to the podium and stated that the fence was not his fence, and it was the neighbor's fence. So the next day, I got a property survey from the respondent, and it clearly showed that the fence was the neighbor's fence. So I cited the neighbor next door for the fence violation. So the tree debris was removed. That evening, last month, I presented displayed the photographic evidence to showing the tree debris in the front yard. I know, Ms. Williams, you were not here last month, but that came into compliance, and I submitted an affidavit of compliance. So that case has been resolved.
Awesome.
Okay? So is there anything I need to,
Well, where we had left it was, depending on how that case, how the fence case was gonna go, and we anticipated probably was not his fence, we were gonna drop that. And we were gonna come back here with the case, with the debris.
Right.
And give it compliance, and we would pick it up from there. However, did you by chance did you watch the city council, or I'm sorry, the code board?
I was traveling for business, I'm sorry.
I don't believe we're gonna have enough people here for votes on it.
okay.
Now, if you wanna, I guess,
So-
remand the case, or just,
So what I'll do is I have testimony here for the tree debris, and then this way you can listen to
I
the.
did
well,
to the test-
have you talked to the respondent?
Yes.
He knows what's, that
Yes.
we're moving forward
Yep.
with the case?
Yes.
That's what's in-
So I also prepared a new notice of violation, removing that fence. That has been submitted to the clerk's office as well. So, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance, this case that's this evening originated September 24, 2024, when I observed a pile of tree debris along the fence on the south property line. Since the property has no trespassing signs posted, I generated a notice of violation with the compliance date of October 15, 2024. I posted the notice letter at the property line, and I also requested copies be certified in first-class mail. I also requested a copy to be posted at the electronic board at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. My reinspection on October 22nd, 2024 noted no change. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence that was taken by me on September 24th, 2024. Exhibit number 1 shows the pile of tree debris in the front yard. I already submitted that photograph last month. Joe, do you have that photograph with you? So Ms. Williams can see that?
Please, thank you.
Right, and then my inspection on November 1st, 2024 noted that the tree debris had been picked up and removed from the front yard. Therefore, I submitted an affidavit of compliance. So I know that evening I submitted an affidavit and photographic evidence. So Joe should have both of them. And I did speak to the respondent 2 days after the last hearing. Told him that the survey showed that the fence was the neighbor's, and therefore the property is in compliance. So he's aware of it.
Pardon. pass that on to her, so. So for tonight, do we need to,
Just make a finding for
a
that.
finding on about that it's in compliance? Okay, okay.
So it's in compliance.
Yes, yep.
All right, so there's,
Quickly. Which is that case 244469, right?
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Any questions?
If no questions
No,
for.
sir, thank you.
All right, so, just looking for a finding.
Yes.
Okay.
In case number 244469, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violations of the city Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 12214 North 51st Street with the applicable code violation section 10-34. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Director, Tom Baroni, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and the notice of violation of which received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there will be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
Have a motion, need a second?
Second.
Or any further discussion? All right, so, just take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. No nays? Motion passes. So we're ready for the next case?
Next case is case number 24-4595, City versus Fakir Hossan and Hasina Akhtar for the property located at 112 Oak Ridge Avenue. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 8-28A1, Permit App Required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. The city has evidence that the notion of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Vice Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by Community Development on October 15th, 2024 for a red tag posted at the site for electrical work being done without a permit. I paired a notice of violation on that date with a reinspection date of October 21st, 2024. I posted a copy at the residence and a copy was posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed both certified and regular mail to the address of the owner of record. My reinspection on November 27th, 2024 showed no change, so a notice of hearing was prepared on that date, and the case was scheduled for the December Municipal Code Board meeting. This time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence taken by myself on October 15th and screenshots of the stop work order. Also, the site is in compliance, and I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance, and I'm seeking a finding.
You may submit. Thank you. Any questions for the Code Compliance Officer? Okay. All right.
Affidavit of compliance. Very nice.
I got the permit.
I can do this.
All right, so, yeah, just looking for a finding.
In case number 24-4595, I move the city is proven by a greater weight of evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace Code did exist on the property located at 112 Oak Ridge Avenue, applicable code sections 8-28, subsection A, subsection 1. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officers, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. No nays? Motion passes. Next case.
Last case under new cases is case 24-4673, City versus General Realty and Inco Incorporated for the property located at 5302 East Fowler Avenue. This case has been pulled from the agenda and placed on the February 2025 MCEB hearing. Move on now to the last of the unfinished MCEB cases. Case 23-0581, City versus Susan L. Obregon for the property located at 334 Sunnyside Road. The deadline for compliance is midnight tonight. A fine of $25 per day begins on December 12th, 2024. Case number 24-1754, City versus Jim Dye for the property located at 203 South Lockmore Avenue. The deadline for compliance is midnight tonight. A fine of $25 per day begins on December 12th, 2024. And finally, case 24-4577, City versus Andrew D. Henry for the property located at 329 Sunnyside Road. The deadline for compliance is midnight tonight. A fine of $25 per day begins on December 12th, 2024. That concludes the agenda.
All right. So, it says, the only new business, I guess there's no other board action unless you guys have something to contribute. The only other thing I have to bring up is we got a card from, it looks like the code enforcement officers.
Oh.
So,
Tis the season.
yeah, thank you. So,
Happy holidays.
yeah, so I'll pass this around. You guys can take a look at it if you'd like. So if there's no,
We appreciate you guys.
yeah,
You wanna
thanks.
pass that down there?
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so unless there's no other business, we move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
There's a motion, they have a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Motion passes.